Okay, for those of you who don't know and who didn't hear my Coach Barrow's piece of tin story, I was a runner in middle school and high school. I ran cross country all the way from 7th through 12th grade, 6 years. And I also happen to run track in the spring track. And I did winter track also for 1 year, for one winter, but spring track. And the only thing that I ever ran, the only event I ran was the mile. Now, I actually started out trying to run the 100 meters. You could picture this little, like, 97-pound fucking unathletic white boy with skinny legs trying to run the fucking 100-meter dash. And it must have been hilarious. Like, my little ass is just lined up on the starting block next to these big ass fucking black kids or whatever. They look like they were twice my size. I might as well have been lined up next to Usain Bolt at the starting line. And I was so fucking slow. Even for someone who was skinny, I couldn't sprint to save my life. And I would run the 100-meter dash in like 16 seconds, which obviously is incredibly slow. I think Usain Bolt could walk 100 meters faster than that. And so could most of the kids I was racing against in high school. It was just ridiculous. And finally, my dad tells me one day, "David, you suck at sprinting, David. Why do you run 100 meters?"
But I don't.
"You're just too slow. You're not a sprinter. You're a distance runner." And then finally I realized, all right, Dad, yeah, you're right. 16 seconds, I think, don't give up your day job. So I decided to just focus on the mile exclusively. Other kids would run three, four different events. They do the mile, they do the 800 meters, they do whatever. But I would just sit around all day long until the mile came up, and then that was it. And people probably thought I was so fucking lazy because I was like the only kid on the track team that did one event. Like, why is he only doing the mile? Why doesn't he do anything else? I've did like 5 events today. I'm like, I don't want to do anything else. Just leave me the fuck alone. Miles, my bread and butter. Whatever. And I was okay. My personal record was a 5:30, which is faster than most human beings can run a mile. But for high school track standards, it's not that fast. Like, you'll probably be in the middle of the pack at best in an average high school track meet. There'll always be someone that breaks 5 minutes who's in first place, and you're never going to come close to winning it. But, anyways, one day I think it was in 11th grade, we had this big meet, right? This big track meet. It was like a county meet where track teams from all over Suffolk County congregated to race against each other. So, as a result, all the best runners from the county were all there, same place, same time, including this guy named Brian Dalpiaz, who was a runner at Sayville High School. This guy was one of the best runners in Long Island history. He destroyed everybody in cross country. He would consistently run the 5K in under 17 minutes, which for the hilly course we'd run at Sunken Meadow was amazing. He would dust even the second best milers in the runners in the county, and this kid was a machine. And he ran close to a 4-minute mile in high school. He was a machine. He was just a freak. Yeah. So I'm sitting around this one day waiting for my mile race to come up. And for some reason, they put the mile at like the end of the day, like the end of the schedule. So if that's your only race, like I would do, you're sitting around bored all fucking day. Right? We get there at like 10 o'clock, and it's like 3:30, and I still haven't run. I'm like, man, when are they going to call me? Jesus. Then finally I hear a call for the mile. And my dad had come down there to watch me. Now, I told my dad not to show his face when I was running because he was like some kind of bad luck charm. And it also annoyed the shit out of me when he would yell at me like, "Come on, David, run faster, move up, pass that guy." And I was just like, No, I just didn't want to hear it. Just leave me the fuck alone and let me run. So I tell him to like hide, somewhere, hide in the stands or hide somewhere. Don't let me see him until, maybe the last lap or whatever. Then he could come out. But he decides to break protocol and he's standing there at the entrance to the track. And like I said, they called the race and runners are going onto the track to start the race. But I had this gut feeling this was the wrong race. I'm just like, I don't know what it was. It was just one of those feelings you have. So I'm kind of hesitating, right, to go on the track. And then my dad comes up to me and goes, David, get in there. That's your race. Get in the race. Go now. It's starting. And I'm like, okay, well, he must know what he's talking about, right? So I get in the race and starting gun goes off. We take off. And immediately, right from the get-go, I'm way behind. I'm talking in the first 150 meters, I'm in last place. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm a 5:30 miler. I may not win any races, but I sure as hell have never finished in last place. Not even close. I'm always middle of the pack at worst. What the fuck's going on? Either these guys are extremely fast or I'm extremely slow. I'm like, no. I'm probably running a 5:20, 5:30 pace. I know my pacing. But these guys are miles ahead of me. What the fuck's going on? And then I look in front of me, way in front of me, and I see this shiny bald head, which was the trademark shaved head of one Brian Dalpiaz. Yeah, that guy I just told you about. Like, oh, fuck. I just jumped in the county championship race. These were like the 7, 8 fastest milers in Suffolk County, including Dalpiaz. Like, oh, fuck. And then I knew, like, I'm going to get destroyed. I'm probably going to, I'm going to finish in last by a mile. But I'm just going to give this my all, run as hard as I can, and hope to God I don't get lapped. So, I'm running. And I'm about to finish my third lap. And I look behind me, and of course, who's coming up behind me but Brian Dalpiaz? Like I said, he was probably running close to a 4-minute mile. Yeah, he ran a 4:06 or a 4:07 mile that day. And I thought to myself, oh, hell no. I don't give a shit who this is. I don't care if this is the fastest runner on earth. I am not getting lapped. Not today, not in front of all these people or my father. I am not getting lapped. So, we get about maybe 40, 50 meters from the end of my third lap, from the starting line, the finish line, and I just start sprinting like it's the fourth lap. And he's coming up behind me, trying to lap me and pick me off, and I ain't letting him. And finally, I cross the finish line of the third lap, and he's about 2-3 feet behind me, maybe. And then, of course, seconds later, he passes me. He passes me to finish the race, but he didn't lap me, thank God. And, I finished the last lap all by myself. Everyone else was already done. And, I'm getting all these cheers, like fucking, oh man, everyone's cheering for me to finish. And, yeah, I finally finished about 5:29, 5:30, close to a record. And the next worst guy, right? The second to last guy in this race ran a fucking 4:40, right? I finished in last place by close to a minute. And Brian Dalpiaz finished like a minute and a half ahead of me. The freak he was. But, yeah, like I said, I told my dad to stay away from me before and, during most of the race. He didn't listen and, that's what happened. Way to go, Dad. Thank you for breaking protocol. And I made sure he was never there for another race as long as I was in high school. Like, you better hide in the stands again, Dad. Please leave me alone. Yeah.